Welcome to First Sundays. First Sundays provides a place where we can gather to share deeply about our hopes, our dreams, our aspirations, and grief, while being guided by the four paths of creation spirituality. During our time together, we will honor each other, ourselves, our ancestors, the earth, and the universe. We will be looking at our lives and the world we live in through the lens of creation spirituality. We will spend time discussing and examining current issues and ideas as presented in the talks given at our May 25th virtual gathering. All are welcome. This is an open and inclusive community. We invite you to participate in ways that make you feel comfortable. Please use gallery view as is the best way to see everyone. Please use your chat button at the bottom of your screen if you have questions, comments, or responses. We will meet for about 90 minutes. Our team members tonight are Patty, Nee, Lori, Margie, Cheryl, and Carolyn. Michael and Charlie are absent tonight. Creation spirituality is the age-old tradition of listening to the story of spirit told by creation that embodies it. We listen through deep communion with nature. We listen to the voices of mystics from all spiritual traditions, such as Rumi, Buddha, Hildegard, Black Elk, and Jesus.
The second principle of creation spirituality is what we'll be covering tonight. In creation, God is both eminent and transcendent. This is panentheism, which is not theism, God out there, and not atheism, no God anywhere. We experience that the divine is in all things and all things are in the divine. Today's contact with Stephen Martin, astronomer, educator, and writer. Tonight, we'll be invited to listen more deeply to creation itself. Stephen helped us tune in to what he calls cosmic noises, the sounds and rhythms of the universe that are always present but rarely heard. His work reminds us that creation is not silent. It is singing, vibrating, and communicating. As we listen, we're practicing the via positiva, wonder and awe, and opening ourselves to a deeper sense of belonging within the cosmos. A video recording of his presentation was at the October 2025 virtual gathering of creation spirituality.
At this time, we'll take a few minutes to join the circle. We want to welcome everyone into our circle. And please introduce yourself by stating the following aloud, or you may use the chat box button if you're uncomfortable stating it aloud. So we want to know the name that you like to be called, what pronouns you would like used to refer to you, where on the planet you are speaking from, and the names of the ancestors who lived upon the land before you. If anyone is new today and doesn't know how or doesn't know where who lived on the land before you, you can go to an app called native-land.ca, enter your location, and it will let you know all of the tribes that lived on the land before present day. When you're done writing or sharing out loud, this is where we're going to take a few minutes to each say out loud or in the chat. It was about the most unclear directions ever. Raise your hand and say where you're from and who you are, please, if you would like to.
I'm Susan Curry. I use she, her pronouns. I live near Philadelphia in a land that was the Lenni Lenape land.
I'm Margie. I go by she, her. I live in Florida and I live on the land of the Seminoles.
Go ahead, Karen.
Okay, my name is Karen, and I live in Wisconsin, and I live on the Ojibwe land. And yeah, I'm right on the Mississippi in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
I'm Lori Crockett and I live in Virginia, and my pronouns are she and her. And the tribes that lived on the land before me are the Shawnee and the Manhoek. Helen?
Thank you. My name is Helen. I live in Washington State, and I live on the lands of the Puyallup tribe.
Hi, Helen. My name is Cheryl, and I just moved to Edmonds, Washington, which is just north of Seattle. And so this is the land of the Snoqualmie, Snohomish, and Suquamish.
Janice?
Hi, my name is Janice. She and her pronouns. I'm here in Northeast Pennsylvania, the land of Lenape, Shawnee, Muncie, and Susquehannocks. Good to be here.
Carolyn?
I'm Carolyn, and I'm talking from Alameda, California. My pronouns are Kikin, and this is the land of the Ohlone peoples.
Thank you. Patty?
And my name is Patty McGrath. I use she, her pronouns. And normally my home is in Maryland, the land of the Manahoac and the Piscataway Kanoi peoples. But now I'm in Rome, Italy, where the ancient peoples are just the Romans, ancient agrarian people, pre-colonial.
Welcome to everyone. Suzanne Taylor had to leave early. She had something come up.
Oh, we wish her well.
When we are done introducing ourselves, we like to use the gaze of Darshan, making eye contact with the holiness in each other. Darshan is the loving gaze that restores both the giver and the received. Thank you for joining our circle. You are welcome in this circle. You are welcome, whoever you are, however you identify yourself racially, whoever your people are, wherever you are from, and with whatever beliefs guide the purpose of your life. Aho. At this time, we've welcomed each other into our virtual circle, and now we will move more deeply into our connection with our Creator, our Source. Take a moment to grab a candle. You're invited to take a few slow, deep breaths. Invite your body to relax and to soften anything that has become too tight within. Shake yourself out a bit. Become more comfortable in your own skin. Follow the rising and falling of your breath. Center in your personal rhythm. Invite yourself in your own way to turn your awareness toward the vital life force that is within and all around you, and the vital love force that binds the universe together. Hold a moment in stillness with me. Let the stillness surround you. Invite yourself to become present to the deep reservoir of life that resides in this stillness. As a symbol of this renewed connection with our Creator, if it feels comfortable to you, we invite you to light a candle. You can light a real candle, or hold a picture of a candle, or find a candle app on your phone that you can light, or simply imagine your thumb as a candle and imagine lighting it. All of these lights remind us of the one light, the first light, our connection to the first beginning, the great flaring forth of creation. We now acknowledge this light and remember that everything in the known universe has its origin in a single point of light. We all stand together in the light of creation. And at this time, we will take a minute to honor the directions. You can turn yourself to the direction, or you can move your chair, or you can just use your thoughts to focus on that direction. So first we will turn to the east. We honor the direction of the east, the dawn of the day, and all of the ancestors and wisdom teachers from the east. Now please turn to the south. We honor the direction of the south, the fullness of the day, and all of the ancestors and wisdom teachers from the south. Now please turn to the west. We honor the direction of the west, the dimming of the day, and all the ancestors and wisdom teachers from the south, from the west. Which one was I on? I think that now as we turn to the west, we honor the direction of the west, the dimming of the day, and all the ancestors and wisdom teachers from the west. Now, please turn to the north. We honor the direction of the north, the darkness of the night, and the shining of the stars, and all of the ancestors and wisdom teachers from the north. Now, please, as we focus inward, we honor the Creator that we experience within. As the fire of the human heart, we give thanks. Now, take a moment to gaze upward as we honor the Creator that we experience above us in the radiance of the heavens. And now, as we turn to look downward, we honor the Creator that we experience below us in the firmness of the earth. Ancestors and wisdom teachers from the 7 sacred directions, we thank you for your presence during our time together. Now, as we have honored the 7 sacred directions and our Creator, let us remember we are all part of this vast universe around us and within us, and that our home is with our Creator as we journey through this life. Now we'll turn it over to Carolyn for body prayer.
Thank you, Lori. Today we're going to be singing a song called All Will Be Well, and that phrase will be familiar to many of you because it so famously came out of Julia Norwich's mouth. Did I say that properly, Patty?
Norwich.
Julia Norwich's mouth. And so Meg Barnhouse has come up with a composition that we're going to look at today. What I'm going to do is go
everyone
ahead.
have on their screen the view that you can see the slides? Because there are lyrics on the slides.
Yeah,
So-
they should all be able to see it.
Okay, I was on gallery view, so I didn't see them. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
that's okay.
So yeah, hopefully you're following along with the slideshow. I think it looks like most of you are. Anyway, what I'm going to do now, the verse and the chorus are actually quite easy. So I'm just going to sing through the verse one time and then the chorus a couple times to give you the hang of it. And then we'll go ahead and we'll sing this together and even put some hand motions with it. So I'll start off here. I said, Julian, you're holy, you're holding my hand. I said, Julia, you're holy, you're holding my hand. I said, Julia, you're holy, you're holding my hand. I said, Julia, you're holy, you're holding my hand. Yeah, we need to get it so that we're seeing what happened is it switched over to me, Lori, instead of the screen.
Right.
And we do need to have that full size for people to be able to read it because those lyrics are there, but there's a lot of them.
Okay, is that good?
We want you to be able to see it. So, I sang it all the way through once, and so I'm going to invite you. Well, first of all, we'll sing the chorus through together, and then we'll sing the verse through together, and then we'll put all of this together. So the chorus is, she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. So I'm going to have you sing after me. She said, all will be well. All will be well. Now you sing. She said, all will be well. All will be well. And make sure you're on mute, okay? And I'm going to sing now. All manner of things will be well. And now you. All manner of things will be well. Now, when we go through these verses, we're just going to sing through them together because the verse is very repetitious. So I think you'll get the hang of this quite easily. In fact, by the end of it, I think you'll have pretty much the hang of it. But it's the same melody that I just sang earlier. So just to give you an example, I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about pain? Just like that. And you're going to repeat that over and over again. All right? So keep yourself on mute, but let's go ahead and sing this first verse together. Actually, hang on a second. Before we do this, you need to go ahead and sing the part where it says, I said, Julian, you're holy, because that's how the whole thing starts off. And I didn't give you an opportunity to do that. So let's sing that first together, and then we'll sing the chorus together, and then we'll get really brave and move on and do the full next verse. All right? So sing along with me. I said, Julian, you're holy. You're holding my hand. I said, Julian, you're holy. You're holding my hand. She said, all will be well. All will be well. All manner of things will be well. Now moving on. I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about pain? I said, Julian, do you not know about hunger? And Julian, do you not know about shame? She said, all will be well. All will be well. All manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about loneliness? I said, Julian, do you not know about disease? I said, Julian, do you not know about cruelty? I said, Julian, it's too much. It's brought me to my knees. She said, all will be well. All will be well. All manner of things will be well. She said, all will be well. All will be well. All manner of things will be well. All right, so now I want to go through this, but before we go through it, we want to think a little bit about some hand motions. We want to bring our body into this. This is body prayer. This isn't just, oh, let's learn a song. No, this is body prayer. See, this is part of what we're doing. We're bringing our whole body into it. And for me, the important words and all this repetitious stuff is the thing that she's talking about, sorrow, pain. So when you're seeing, I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? What brings to you, when you're feeling sorrow, where do you feel it? For me, I feel it right in my heart. That's where I feel it. My fourth chakra, that's where I feel it. That might not be where you feel it, but I want your body to embrace this feeling of sorrow. And about pain, where do you feel pain? So for me, it might be some arthritic pain, as we get older, that kind of becomes a thing. And then with hunger, where do you feel hunger? For me, I feel hunger more in my stomach, so maybe I'll rub my stomach. And what about shame? Well, for me, shame is about hiding your face, right? So just bring your body into it here. Loneliness, let's see, for loneliness, well, for me, I feel a tightness in my chest with loneliness. And disease, I don't know about you all, but I think about especially cardiovascular disease and lung diseases, all these things that take our loved ones away from us. The pneumonia, the heart attacks, all that, the disease. So for me, I'm just feeling that over my chest area. And cruelty. How do you embody cruelty? Well, pounding fists. We see a lot of cruelty in the streets these days. Fist fighting and pepper spraying, all kinds of things. Well, how are you going to respond? I said, I know it's too much. It brought me to my knees. So for me, I'm going to crunch down a little bit with that. But I want you all to feel this. I want you to wear it in your body. This is part of our processing when we see all this news all week long. We want to come in here and we need Julian's message of hope. We absolutely need this message right now. So let's go ahead and sing this all through together. We'll start off at the very top and we're going to go through everything, all right? All right, let's go. I said, Julian, you're holy, you're holding my hand. And Julian, you're holy, you're holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about pain? I said, Julian, do you not know about hunger? And Julian, do you not know about shame? She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about loneliness? And Julian, do you not know about disease? I said, Julian, do you not know about cruelty? I said, Julian, it's too much, it's brought me to my knees. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. Thank you. And next, we turn it over to Carolyn. I think next we're moving into our time of coming as we are, taking stock of where we are. And so we invite you at this time just to come into your own bodies, into your own selves, and be open to what is present within you, and take stock of what you're feeling at this time. And so we're going to take a moment of stillness now to notice what you're bringing into this time of our connection and community. And we will be sharing our responses aloud, so please feel free to say something, and at the same time being respectful of taking turns or other people speaking as well. And we also ask that you're respectful with what you learn from someone else and to hold confidentiality to our circle. And so now we're going to start with looking at the Via Positiva. And we invite you to come as you are, to be open. And now we're going to think in this moment of stillness, what are you noticing in terms of where you have learned the Via Positiva? And when I say Via Positiva, I'm referencing any awe or wonder that you might have felt this week. And it's a place where you can mention the joy, celebration, and honoring of others who are being strengthened by awe, wonder, or gratitude. So if you can move to the next slide, Lori. There we are. So
Lori,
if you
can
don't,
we unmute, or sorry, unpin the speakers so we can all see everybody?
I'm not sure. I mean, people can unmute themselves. Are you having trouble?
Sorry, Carolyn, I used the wrong word at first. At first I said unmute. I meant to say unpin, but it's done.
Thank you, Cheryl.
And if you're not comfortable sharing aloud, please feel free to put it in the chat box. Well, I was just sharing earlier that I had the chance to join a new choir today, and so that's exciting because it's the promise of new relations. And I'm just really excited to be involved in a UU church that's has so many good things to say. And it's so nice to go to a service and not feel like you have to redirect things that are being said or cross this out and say this instead. And some of the confessions sound like affirmations of the most horrible things. So that's a real blessing.
I've been in awe this past week watching the monks as they're walking towards DC, and I've been following their path, and they just went through the town that I used to live in, and it's really been something that's affected me this last week.
I've been experiencing moments of peace being in groups like this, and my Sisters of Belcour that have really played an important role in taking me to peaceful places when times don't feel so peaceful.
Helen here. I've been awe and just a tremendous shift in area in my life that's been a huge struggle and a lot of fear for a lot of years. And I'm in 12-step recovery, which is a spiritual solution to things. People are familiar with that. And I had felt kind of lost and have trust and have faith. And actually, this is my first Sunday. So it's lovely to be here with you. And I just really asked from Spirit, from God, the universe, to show me what I needed. And I felt this very dramatic shift back to a sense of God that really does fill me, and which brought me back to Matthew Fox's work, which I've been learned more about on and off, and I feel a commitment right now that I haven't had before. And looking at circumstances in my life, that I have the time, I have the energy, and this is where I need to be. And I'm just so thrilled to be able to share that with you, that this is happening. And so I do need to get off a little early, probably a little before 5, but I do plan on coming back. And I thank you for this beautiful sacred space.
Unmute, Patty.
I had a special moment this morning, going out to the store, and the parrots were in the trees in a courtyard where I was walking past. There's a flock of wild Asian parrots. They're a light green with a long tail feather. I've never seen them before, and there are a whole flock of them. They were released in Rome years ago when there was an enormous storm or something, and they are flourishing here. And the trees in a lot of the parks have seed pods. I guess they're 3 or 4 inches long, and they have all little seeds in them. And my sister said she saw the parrots tearing the seed pod open and eating the seeds. So she said, no wonder why they're flourishing. If they eat those, there are thousands of these trees all over the place. So flock just kind of, they're just all over the whole neighborhood. You never know where you're going to see them. So it was just like magic. I couldn't see a lot of them because they hide in the leaves, and the trees here don't lose all their leaves in the winter in Rome. But I could hear them, and I did see 1 or 2 flying around. So that was just like magic. It's kind of like being in a primitive, unspoiled place where the wildness is alive.
Let's move on to the Via Negativa then. So at this point, we want you to reflect on where you may have recently experienced loss, darkness, letting go, or things that you don't understand. And this is also a place to mention grief, sadness, regret, or loss of others that's stirring your heart. So feel free to share aloud your responses, or if you're not comfortable, the chat works as well, or even just holding silence together.
With the closing of Marywood, which was a spirituality center up in northern Wisconsin, I was working up there as an artist, and as a result of the closing, and it was given over to the Ojibwe Native Native Americans, and in and that was a beautiful ceremony. They had a drumming ceremony, and then we had a particular ceremony that included a lot of the people that came to the center at different times. But anyway, it was a big loss, and a shift in what I am doing, and I am now in lacrosse, and I took some time out. I turned I'm in my 80s, and I know that it's time for me to begin soul journeying instead of doing, which is so ingrained in us as an American. And so it's like it's a lot of loss. And what I'm knowing I have to do is I have to get more in touch with soul, and being in that space, and of being an elder in the whole of the human economy, the human race right now. And as a result, I'm gonna work with a group. We have 8 sessions that are going to be around a book on doing that. So I feel like that is a good start. So, but it is a lot of loss. I still can do art, but I miss the teaching, the interaction with the people and the sharing. So
The community. Well, I know a lot of you are feeling as I do, watching the news and just seeing things that are happening before our eyes. And it's just, you listen to Heather Cox Richardson, you feel like you're listening to somebody that's writing a book of history about our times in the future, just how she encapsulates the things that are really happening and draws parallels to times in the past. But it's just such a time of tumult and shocking grief. A time I'm grateful for community.
And it's a continually trying to deal with that grief that's going on without it engulfing you in despair, and allowing it to be teachers and making us stronger. That's an ongoing thing for me.
Janice, if you'd like to speak, would you like to unmute?
I was just speaking about the, the aches and pains that come with growing older, and the coldness and the brokenness that comes out of these dark uh times, um in the seasons, and the anxiety and the worry and the stress that comes when you can't do as much in the wintertime. But it's also a good time to go inside and heal inside and slow down and take a look, so just reflecting on that womb gestation of winter that we're in, It could get people down a lot and be morose, if you will. But it's just you got to go inside at some time. You know, so that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now.
I had some news from a friend of mine that her cancer treatments, her oncologist called to say that the cancer treatments had been unsuccessful and that her cancer was terminal. And it was just shocking and very, very painful. And so that was only 2 days ago. So I'm just I'm just trying to hold her in prayer, and I feel like I'm really far away from her, and it's hard to communicate. Um, so I ask everyone to hold her in healing presence, healing being whatever it can be.
Can you share the first name of your friend, please?
Yeah, Elda. Elda.
I also have a young friend who suddenly woke up and discovered that she had a stroke in her eye and lost her vision in the eye. And she went to the emergency and they did all kinds of tests and couldn't figure out what caused it. And she's been to the ophthalmologist and he doesn't seem to know either. And so she's struggling with that, the part that it's unknown why it happened and the fact that her vision hasn't returned. So keep her in our prayers. Her name's Elizabeth.
Well, it is true we go through those times, and those times of darkness are indeed an important part of our development. And yet, we also have the opportunity to learn from them. Margie alluded to this as well, listening to our lessons and birthing creation. And so now we're going to be moving into looking at the places where we're being called to birth new things. So take a moment of silence now and contemplate, remember the events of recent times, and think about where you've been called to give birth, the places where you're being called to expand your creativity, and this is also a place to mention others who are giving birth to new things and to express your support of them.
This one's an easy one for me. We've been talking about it earlier about following the examples of the Buddhist monks that are walking for peace, have been walking for peace these past few months, heading to Washington, D.C., and inspiring me. And I'm seeing other people on Facebook that are also being inspired what they can do that's similar to that to keep it going. And I'm not looking for ways to try to do that in my community in some small way.
My sister is knitting red hats. And so is the Pax community. It's a community I worship with in Virginia, in Northern Virginia. And they were all knitting red hats.
I just talked to my friend Julie on the phone earlier this afternoon. She's a coworker of mine, and she's knitting several red hats, and I didn't know about them until she told me about them.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I know what Patty's talking about. I can talk about Via Creativa in weave positiva and negativa into it as well. And I'm just shared. I'm sorry, I have to come back. My washing machine is singing at me. I'll be right back. Okay, thanks, guys. I was not going to be able to share with that. I would say on what night was it? This Wednesday night, I guess, this last week. I got to go to the teachers' labor union hall and phone call and get out the vote for our school district levy, which is coming up in February. And it's always a little bit nerve-wracking for several reasons. One is it's really important that this levy passes. It's 15% of our school district's budget. And the feds and the state, I don't know about your state, but in mine, we don't sufficiently fund public education. So it's nerve-wracking. And then also, you're making phone calls to people who we think are going to vote yes anyway, but you just never know what you're going to get. So I'm going to say it was a really positive experience for me for several reasons. So, like, I walked in and there was Dr. Miner, my district superintendent, and there was Dr. Greg Schwab and Dr. Helen Jung, members of the administration, and there was Dr. Nancy Kadams, president of my school board, and I adore her. And so it was like, oh, I was in a company of really good people doing really good things. And mostly I just left a lot of voicemail messages. But I got one guy and I said, we're just encouraging you to turn your ballot in and vote yes for the school district levy. And he was so enthusiastic. He's like, absolutely. We've turned our ballots in and we've checked and our votes have been counted and we just support you and everything you're doing. Afterwards, I said to the group of other teachers, do people know this person? And they're like, oh, yes, he's a retired teacher and was the president of the Education Association, the school district next door. I'm like, oh, okay. But anyway, I just felt really filled up with the goodness of the people around me and what we were doing. And felt really hopeful, especially because just really stressed out about the fact that we're what feels like in the beginning of collapse right now. And I'm feeling it really viscerally. So whenever I can just fill my bucket up with, those mm, moments of positivity, I'm just trying to soak that up.
It reminds me of what Matt said not that long ago about the model of the camel and how we have to fill ourselves up with these things and really just make that hump as big as we can get it, because the desert is long and hard, and you know you're facing a desert. So it's beautiful to be able to fill the hump up with some good feelings and positive creativity.
Carolyn, I emailed on the I don't frequently do, but in the comment section of the daily meditation when he was talking about the camel humps, he frequently will go back to it, but the most recent time I shared with him, which if you know children's books, you probably already know this book by this Japanese artist and author Tomi. And it's a book about poop and how everybody poops. Did you know that a one hump camel makes a one hump poop and a two hump camel makes a two hump poop? Just kidding.
I love that book, of course. Talking about taking a little via negativa and making it something very creative. Although, if you have never not pooped, you know that having a poop can be a very positive experience. So, any more for creativa?
Yeah. One thing that happened to me lately is because I really express myself more through art and through paintings than I do other things, and I just realized that the shifting that has been going on in my life has also been going on in my art. And when I look at it, what I noticed as I look back on the things I've done and what I'm doing now, or what I'm going into now, it's like everything was very much, it was always nature. I always did nature. Okay. And it was the initial things were very obvious that I was trying to catch what I saw and try to make it exactly as I saw it. So the first paintings I did were very exacting and very colorful, but really just portrayed what I was seeing. Not photographically. I never did that quite. So, but realistically. And then it shifted into doing more like suggesting things like Monet kind of things, softer and more suggestive and that. And what I've gone into now is like more trying to find motion in what I see. So instead of the flower just being a stable flower, it has a lot of energy. It's bursting out, and it just has that extra thing that we see in nature and in real things that we have before our eyes if we really look. It's all the energy that's around it, and so it's becoming more abstract. And I notice that I'm more like going into the um, cosmic kind of art, and also the very minute little things in nature like mosses and a lichen and the things that are well they're kind of dying and I mean they look like they're dying and disintegrating but they aren't you know so it's kind of like it has fit the different stages of life, which I find very interesting. I mean, when I'm thinking about it, it's kind of interesting to really look at that and know that yeah, you really are going through these stages, and it really is happening because it's coming out in your art. So it's not in words exactly. Anyway, I'm excited about that. That revelation that I got. That yeah.
So Karen, just talking about art and paintings and creativity, I wanted to shout out Carolyn for wearing a blouse that matched the painting behind her when she was at the other wall. There you go.
Yeah.
Let me take myself off mute here. But what you're reminding me of is this book I'm trying to plow through, not very successfully, Otto Rank's Art and Artist, in which he talks about the development of the artist and the artist's personality, which is so fascinating. You're like this, giving us this amazing living example of this very thing. Well, let's go ahead and move into the transformativa here. This is a time in which we want to take a look at, well, what happens is our creativity frequently ends up with transformation, transformative elements that we experience in our daily lives and also in our culture. So this is a time for us to mention the transformation that is taking place in ourselves, in our culture, our earth, our social institutions, and also our deepest understanding of culture. So it's also a place to name your favorite transformers. So feel free to grab the mic and speak on out.
Well, I'd like to appreciate Karen from what she just expressed of how she's going with the flow with her art. That inspires me. That's beautiful. Thank you.
I have one of my creative outlets is gardening, and a month or so ago I planted a huge barrel of daffodils. I put like 25 of them in this one container that should all just come up and be absolutely magnificent whenever spring gets here. And I also had ordered these other bulbs called Angelique. They're these beautiful pink tulips, and I put them in a pot on the side of my porch. So whenever this thaw happens, whenever spring actually comes, I've got some stuff that's going to just be magical. So I'm waiting for that.
We'll expect to see pictures in slides in the future.
Okay.
I think of in Transformativa, I often think of um, our work for justice. And so many people that I know are involved with um, Indivisible and Elders for Climate Action and Sisters of Earth and so many other groups, 350.org. I forget what Bill McKibben's senior thing is. It's not another organization. And so basically, um, I'm not home. Otherwise, every Saturday morning I would be at a protest. We have a protest on Rockville Pike across the street from Tesla every Saturday at 10:30. And I'm looking forward to being home for the March 28th No Kings rally because I'm going to be, I don't know exactly which rally I'll be in, but I'll be in some rally trying to make good trouble. And I want to be conscious of the fact that there are elections happening now to fill vacant seats, even in the House of Representatives, but also state houses. And those elections also, Cheryl, are really, really important for our well-being and for the stability of our society so that it doesn't get completely run over by billionaire fascist kind of moves.
Patty, in the United States of America, we're hearing about protests in Milan for the Olympics. I'm wondering if there's ice out protests in Rome about that too.
Not that I've seen, but I'm not that plugged into Rome media. And the reason is because they speak Italian so fast, I can't understand it. I have street Italian, like market Italian. I can go to the store and buy stuff. And I get a few jokes here and there, just cordial things, but I don't really know enough. I never turn on the Italian television. It's loud and it's very strange. So, but no one has said anything about it. My niece and nephew, naturally, they follow stuff. But um, Milan is to Rome as Honolulu is to Washington. Okay? It's like, that's the north, and that's like, technically it's the same country. But anyway, so yeah. I hope they do.
All right, well, let's move on now and move into prayer and summarize what we've shared together in contemplation. So, we have gathered together and we've offered up our hopes, our awe, our wonder. We've offered up our griefs, our worries, our concerns. We've offered our creativity. We've offered up our transformations. And now we honor them by sharing them in community and giving them to our Creator. Aho.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'm looking at the clock and my goodness, it's the top of the hour and we're ready to move into body prayer. This is the second half, but you already know it now, right? Yeah, well, we'll review. But now what we're going to do is Julian's response, and the verses are really the same. So what we'll do is we'll start together with the chorus. And you may have noticed when I was doing my hand motions with the chorus, all will be well, all will be well. And then for me, I think about Hildegard, how she puts her hands out in this healing supplication. And I just imagine the earth in those hands, that all manner of things will be well, and visualizing the planet and just putting our energy around the health of the planet and the health of the biosphere and all living beings. So that's the chorus. And then we'll have Julian's response and again go from there. So we'll start with the chorus. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, no one does not know about sorrow, and no one does not know about pain. She said, no one does not know about hunger, and no one does not know about shame. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, no one does not know about loneliness, and no one does not know about disease. She said, no one does not know about cruelty. She said, I know it's too much, it's brought me to my knees. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And I know we need to move on because we have a little 15-minute presentation to see as yet, and then to talk after that. So I'll turn that over, I think, to you, Lori. All right, I think Margie.
Okay, Stephen Martin is an astronomer, educator, and writer who has taught astronomy and physics at colleges and educational centers across the U.S. for over 30 years. Steve is currently director of the Deep Time Leadership and Wellbeing Program at the Deep Time Network, where he is also a lead teacher, having presented courses such as Cosmos, Consciousness, and Birthing the Ecozoic, and applying the new cosmology to a global audience. The Deep Time Leadership and Wellbeing Program has trained over 200 people from 16 countries around the world and is based on the vision of a new culture of humanity in which humans live in mutually enhancing relationships with each other and with the whole Earth community.
An educator and an author who taught astronomy, physics, and consciousness studies for over 25 years. Between 2003 and 2008, he studied directly with Brian Swim and others at the California Institute of Integral Studies, out of which came his first book, Cosmic Conversations, Dialogues with Scientists, Spiritual Teachers, and Cultural Creatives on the Nature of the Universe and Our Role in It. He leads workshops on the new cosmology across the US and Europe, using multidisciplinary approaches to exploring the universe. He is currently adjunct faculty at the John F. Kennedy University, where he teaches a course on cosmology and consciousness. So, Stephen, we are excited to hear from you. I'm going to spotlight you for everyone. All right.
Good. Thank you. Well, glad to be here. What a lovely gathering. And I'm sorry I haven't been able to join till now, but it's so good to be here with you and to be opening this session on the cosmos and justice. As you heard, I'm an astronomer, and so I tend to kind of look at this big view. And so I really want to reflect on what Martin Luther King Jr. said, is that the arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. So I'd like to connect up kind of the arc of the universe and its dynamics and how we can work for justice. And the title of what I wanted to share about is One Universe, Many Voices, right? Because actually the word universe means one voice or one song. And we have a diversity of expressions in this universe. As Thomas Berry said, I'll just read the quote here. Everything has its own voice. Thunder and lightning, and stars and planets, flowers, birds, animals, trees. All these have voices, and they constitute a community of existence that is profoundly related. Right? So all of existence has its voices, but not.
An educator and an author who taught astronomy, physics, and consciousness studies for over 25 years. Between 2003 and 2008, he studied directly with Brian Swim and others at the California Institute of Integral Studies, out of which came his first book, Cosmic Conversations, Dialogues with Scientists, Spiritual Teachers, and Cultural Creatives on the Nature of the Universe and Our Role in It. He leads workshops on the new cosmology across the US and Europe, using multidisciplinary approaches to exploring the universe. He is currently adjunct faculty at the John F. Kennedy University, where he teaches a course on cosmology and consciousness. So, Stephen, we are excited to hear from you. I'm going to spotlight you for everyone. All right.
Good. Thank you. Well, glad to be here. What a lovely gathering. And I'm sorry I haven't been able to join till now, but it's so good to be here with you and to be opening this session on the cosmos and justice. As you heard, I'm an astronomer, and so I tend to kind of look at this big view. And so I really want to reflect on what Martin Luther King Jr. said, is that the arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. So I'd like to connect up kind of the arc of the universe and its dynamics and how we can work for justice. And the title of what I wanted to share about is One Universe, Many Voices, right? Because actually the word universe means one voice or one song. And we have a diversity of expressions in this universe. As Thomas Berry said, I'll just read the quote here. Everything has its own voice. Thunder and lightning, and stars and planets, flowers, birds, animals, trees. All these have voices, and they constitute a community of existence that is profoundly related. Right? So all of existence has its voices, but not all beings get an equal voice. And so part of the cosmic dynamic of justice is creating spaces where all the voices can be heard, right? All the voices are represented, all the voices are seen. And I want to start with an example. And maybe some of you haven't done this in a while, but if you listen to a radio, anybody here still listen to the radio? All right, you can tune into different stations and tune into your favorite music. And as you tune into those stations, you hear different voices from around the world. You might have global music, you might have jazz, you might have classical, whatever your favorite is. But I noticed that a lot of the stations on the radio are human voices, right? I would love to have a tree channel. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, just to listen to the wind through the trees, or an ocean channel where I could sort of tune into that station and just hear the waves of the ocean. I mean, wouldn't that be a little bit more equity in broadcasting if we had the voices of nature on the radio as well as human voices? Well, it turns out that nature's also speaking on the radio. And I'm just going to give you a demonstration here because I have a radio here in this room, an old-fashioned one. I'm going to turn it on here. And if you turn in between stations, so you can hear this. Can you all hear that? Can't hear it? So Zoom has something called noise suppression, right? Where it tries to kind of drown out those kinds of sounds. So that's another example of how the humans tend to try to tune out the voices of nature. But if you've ever tuned in between radio stations, you'll notice it's not silent, right? Why isn't it silent in between radio stations that are broadcasting music? Well, you notice what you hear there is static. And people say, well, that's random noise. Well, noise in the universe is just a diversity of voices that we'd prefer not to hear. In the same way that weeds are things growing in your garden that you would prefer grew somewhere else. So noise is to the radio what weeds are to the garden, right? It's a diversity of voices that are being spoken from the non-human world that are being picked up by our radio. Now, if you're listening at AM frequencies, much of the static that you hear in the radio, surprisingly, is the voice of lightning. Right? About 40 to 100 lightning strikes take place on Earth every second, mostly around the tropics. And those emit radio waves, and those radio waves travel across the world because AM radio waves can travel very far. And so when you're listening to AM static, right, the voices on the AM radio, what you're mostly hearing is lightning in the tropics, right? The voice of lightning coming around the world. Remarkable, isn't it? Tune into FM in between stations, and you hear static. And I wish I could play it for you, but it's not letting me with Zoom. Much of the static you hear on FM comes from the machines that are around us, right? All the electronic devices, they have a certain hum to them, and the electrical hum emits radio waves. And because it isn't very well organized, at least to our human brains, what we hear it as static. So when we listen to the FM radio, we hear static from machines, right? The voices of all the machines, all the human technology around us is speaking. Well, it turns out that our radio itself, the electrons in the radio, they have tiny little voices too, and they're speaking as well. And some of that static that we hear is from them. Now, if you could listen a little bit deeper, a little bit closer, a little bit softer, what you would hear beneath that, beneath the sound of the radio itself, beneath the sound of the human machines, you could hear the aurora around the Earth, right? The magnetic field that interacts with the sun. And if you could listen even deeper beneath that, you could hear the sound of Jupiter and the sun, who both sing in radio waves, right, from their magnetic fields. So especially when they're overhead, you can hear them on the radio at certain frequencies, but they're also in that static, in that cacophony, or that symphony of voices. But below that level, below the sun and Jupiter, if you listen even very closely, you can hear the sound of the Milky Way, right? Because the Milky Way is made up of hundreds of billions of radio voices, all chattering along above our heads every day and every night. There's black holes speaking, there's neutron stars speaking, there's all kinds of stars talking to each other at radio wavelengths, and this can get picked up on our radio. And if you listen beneath the surface of that, there's another very particular signal you'll pick up, which is called the cosmic microwave background radiation. And this is about 1 in every bits of static that you hear on the radio and FM frequencies. And this piece of this voice comes from the very birth of the universe, when the universe first began to differentiate, when it began to turn itself into diverse elements of experience. So I'm just going to show you an image of this. So here we go. So this is an all sky map of the whole sky. So if you could just take a picture of the sky, 360 degrees around the horizon, and then 360 degrees, up and down. This is the microwave background radiation that you see, and people have done very, very close studies to this. So all these little dots here, if you can see my cursor, I'll just move around in here. Some places a little bit more dense, some places a little bit less dense. So this is actually mapping out the density. It's actually temperature as well of this microwave background radiation. And you see it's not random, right? There's patterns emerging, right? This comes from an era 380,000 years after the flaring forth. And this is when the fireball first begins to differentiate, right? To create, unique centers of experience. Well, these little areas where it's starting to cluster together, those further began to differentiate into galaxies. And the galaxies further began to differentiate into stars, clouds of gas, rocky planets. Those began to differentiate into examples of the Earth, right? The entire living community. And so we see this differentiation as a pathway of the universe. Thomas Berry famously said that the universe has 3 governing dynamics. One, the way of differentiation, of creating unique centers or voices of experience. We're seeing a picture here of that time when differentiation first came into the universe in a very strong way. The second dynamic, he said, is the dynamic of communion, right? This coming together in interrelationality of all these diverse elements to create new forms of experience. The third is subjectivity, right? The unique perspective of every being in the universe and its unique voice. So as the universe was differentiating, it was following this pathway of differentiation and creating a myriad of different voices. So in this cosmic context, our universe becomes a celebration of the unique voices that make up the cosmic symphony, of which we're all an expression. Let me just stop the share here. So here's a quote from Brian Swim. This is in Cosmogenesis. At birth, each of us is promised a quantum of energy. The universe grants this gift of energy and asks only one thing in return, that we use it to say who we are. When we live a life that expresses our unique being, we align ourselves with the universe, right? When we express our unique voice, right? When we take that energy that's been given to us from the flaring forth through this 14 billion year process of differentiation we call a universe, and we use it to express our own unique voice, then we're doing the work of the universe. We're also doing the work of the universe when we are creating spaces where the voices of the universe can be heard equally, right? We don't often hear the voices of lightning. We don't often hear the voices of the clouds or the stars or the Milky Way. So justice in the cosmic context is creating those spaces and opportunities for these other voices to be heard as well, right? To be listened to be reflected upon, to be seen. So that's differentiation, and that's the way of justice. Now, here's how you do it, right? One, we need to find our own unique voice, right? What's our song that we sing? Right? What's our way? That's differentiation. And we find that this dynamic of differentiation is supporting us, right? The dynamic of the universe to differentiate. And so being our unique being, expressing our unique song, walking our unique walk is aligning with that. Being ourselves in a full capacity is being that. And that's a way of justice. But when we allow others to do that as well, when we create spaces for other voices, other songs, other differences, differentiations to come forth, that's also creating spaces for justice to take place, because the universe wants to differentiate. It's the way of the universe. Now, the other way to walk with this is the way of communion, right? Working with others, both human and non-human, to create the conditions where all voices can be heard, right? Plant a garden, let those weeds in, right? Water the weeds as well as the flowers, right? Let's have their voices as well, right? Plant some seeds for the birds, right? So their voices can be heard, right? Creating conditions, right? Where all the voices of nature, right? Human and non-human, can be heard, right? Because they're all these differentiated expressions of the fireball wanting to express themselves in a unique way. Communion also occurs when we deeply listen to each other and receive each other, right? Both the voices of the river and the mountain, the tree and the bird, neighbor and enemy. We can work to create spaces where those who have small and silent voices can be heard along those who have big and loud ones. And it's also a reminder that even those who are silent are still speaking with their being, right? And even if they don't speak in human voices or speak in ways that human ears can hear, they're still speaking. They're still expressing their unique voice. So justice ensures that voices silent and spoken are seen and heard. Now, the third way is the way of subjectivity. So when we deepen our sensitivity to our own subjectivity and that of others, right, we hone our feeling capacity or our sensitivity to be able to sense and receive the diversity of voices. Then we're also doing the work of cosmic justice, right? Because cosmic justice is a way of deep sensitivity, right? Sensing deeply into ourselves, getting to ourselves, but also sensing others, right? Interpersonally sensitive, sensing, being aware of, feeling the whole in each one of us. And so becoming more sensitive is aligning with the way of justice and the way of the universe as well. So the way of cosmic justice is work done with great feeling and a sensitivity to the needs and the voices and songs of all beings. So differentiation, subjectivity, and communion are the three ways that the universe expresses its deeper nature as love. And so our alignment with these cosmic dynamics is alignment with both justice and love on a cosmic scale. So when we can do this, when we can honor all the voices of the universe and community, listening to the deeper subjectivity of ourselves and each other, creating spaces where we can come together in this cosmic symphony, then we're doing the work of universal justice, right? Which seeks to express the perspective of one universe, many voices. So I'm just going to finish up there because I know we're on time, and I might have been the first to actually do it in between the 15 minutes, but there might be time for questions, reflections, feedback.
Wow.
How does that happen?
That was impressive on all scales.
Well, I don't know if you've seen this before, but this talk by Stephen Martin, every time I see it, it impresses me. And so the discussion questions we wanted to have for our breakout are basically, what is your song? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you experience as your song in the universe? And how do you hear the different voices of the universe? What does that whole revelation that Stephen has talked about, how does that actually come into your own experience? So we're going to break out, and because we're running late tonight, I think we're only going to break out for about 10 minutes. And we'll break into two groups. Margie, will you read the respect guidelines?
Laura, you're muted, just so you know.
The respect guidelines are: take responsibility for what you say and feel without blaming others. E, use empathetic listening. S, be sensitive to differences in communication styles. P, ponder what you hear and feel before you speak. E, examine your own assumptions and perceptions. C, keep confidentiality. T, trust ambiguity, because we are not here to debate who is right or who is wrong. Okay, and I'll put us into two breakout groups. Open all rooms.
That wasn't 10 minutes. I don't know. I feel like we didn't really get into it.
Oh,
Well, it's already half out. We're already 30 minutes over, or at
Yeah.
least 15
I know,
over. So.
but cutting short the discussion is kind of like hard on me. So,
Okay, I'm sorry.
okay. But I just I want to let everybody know that a recording of this event of this evening's worship session will be on the YouTube channel. You'll get a link that says, here's the link to the recording when it's up, and then you can look at Stephen Martin's talk again. So, yeah, because it's well worth looking at. And it's also up on the Creation Spirituality website under events, under the 2025 events.
Yeah.
You can look at all the talks. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. They're all on the main Creation Spirituality page. If you go to that and click on events, it'll take you to the gathering, and then you can look through all of the videos.
yeah, for the 2025.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I guess we should move along. I'm sorry I cut the thing short. It was like there weren't that many of us, and we're getting late. So let's see.
There we go. Anybody else want to say
Well,
something about?
yeah, I mean, Patty, you could do donation talk. Because I think that's what the next slide is. Because
Okay.
we're definitely running way over here.
We welcome everybody's contributions to First Sundays, and they can be. It's not just fundraising, just money. We welcome artwork. Karen, your artwork would be beautiful on some of Lori's slides for First Sunday. That's how Margie got involved, not through artwork, but through other things, other contributions of hers that were natural. And then she became really part of the regular volunteer crew for planning the First Sunday sessions. So we welcome your time as well as your treasure to support Creation Spirituality communities. So that's it for our donations. Thank you.
And thank you, Margie.
Yes, thank you, Margie. Yeah. So Lori, do you want
We'll
to
take a few minutes to kind of
final
say
blessing?
blessings. All right. Please place your hands over your heart and repeat after me. The truth of my being is as radiant as a star.
Truth.
The love within me is stronger than any other force in the universe. I am a beloved blessing of the Creator. Oh, blessed be. Amen. Now you may unmute yourself. Keep one hand over your heart, but take your other and put it forward so that you can bless all the rest of each other. Together, we can bless each other. And repeat after me. The truth of your being is as radiant as a star.
Truth
Of your
is as
radiant as a star.
The love within you is stronger than any other force in the universe.
The love within you is stronger than any other force in the universe.
You are a beloved blessing of the Creator.
You are a beloved blessing of the Creator.
Aho, blessed be.
Amen.
Aho, blessed be. Amen.
Thank you.
Okay, and now as we come to the end of our time together, please take your candle and transfer the light to your heart and send it forth to bless those who need blessings. now extinguish the flame, even as our connection continues in spirit. And our last and final slide is some events that we have for creation spirituality. If there's other things like this that you'd like to attend, they're on different days. Song Paths is coming up. That meets on Tuesdays. And there's Cosmic Vespers and Global
Are other
Dreaming.
people seeing the slide? I'm not seeing the slide.
I'm not seeing it either.
Hmm.
All the information, by the way, is on the website under calendar.
Yeah. But there is a slide, Lori.
Yes.
The slides
I
didn't
don't
come
know.
back after the breakouts.
The slides didn't come back after the, well, that's news to me. Okay. So that's the problem. All right. Let's see.
You got us trained so well, Lori. We don't even need the slides anymore.
Oh, gosh. I didn't realize they weren't up. Okay, let's see. Show presenter view and the slideshow. Let's see. There. You have them?
No.
Okay.
That's
Well,
okay. All
they're
right.
on the website. They're on the website, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Take
a week
care,
from tomorrow
everyone.
is the second Tuesday, so there will be Song Path week not from tomorrow, week from Tuesday. And tomorrow there's the Imbolc Labyrinth, and that's at 4:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern time. So that's happening tomorrow if you want to celebrate Imbolc with the community.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're trying to share our multiple events with each other so that we all can go to each other's.
Yeah. And it's cscommunities.org is the website where everything is on the electronic calendar. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Maybe Lori, Carolyn, and Margie, can we stay on a couple of minutes?
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
See you again, everybody. Patty, have fun in Rome.
Thank you. I will. I will.
Janice
It's
and
wonderful.
whoever is next to you over there to your right, Janice.
Francis.
Oh,
Perfect.
Bye.
Oh,
Thank you, everybody.
okay. Good night,
Bye-bye.
Cheryl, honey.
Okay.
I don't know, the 4 paths just, it takes, people are getting quite lengthy with their stories, and we got out of the 4 paths at like 5 minutes till 5 my time, an hour into, which just eats up all the rest of it.
I have to recommend that we go back to putting them in the chat, because there's a big difference between putting a reference to an experience that I have in that path and explaining the path. And the explaining is beautiful sharing, but that's not the whole. That would be a whole worship service.
That was 45
Did that.
minutes.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
45 minutes right there.
Yeah.
And then we would have had to cut out the second body prayer
Yeah.
in order to have any respectable amount of time to have the discussion.
Well, and I truncated it as much as I could, but
I know.
I didn't spend all that
So-
time on it not to do it.
So
All right.
that's one thing. The other thing is I'm disappointed that we just had like 4 minutes or something for discussion. That was not enough time.
Yeah.
I apologize for that. We didn't have but one person, so it wasn't.
That's
for
not
one
true. We
person.
had 4 in our room, Lori.
Well,
We
you know,
had
we
4
had-
people in our room, so I was also surprised when all of a sudden you said we have 1 minute to go. I was like, wow, that was the fastest 10 minutes I can remember.
Well, I
It
think
was. I
you were-
apologize. We had one person that wasn't us. It was like, well, I thought it just seemed like we didn't need as much time because we didn't have that many people.
We had
But
4 people in our group, and they
I know
Yeah.
you and I count.
Well, and
yeah,
Janice
counting
and
us.
Karen.
Right.
Well, I think Lori was feeling the pressure of time because we, were aware that we were going
Right.
over.
Right.
that
Yeah,
may have-
I don't think other people that the people who come are feeling the pressure
They
of
don't.
time.
Yeah, I agree
Okay.
with you, Patty.
But-
I agree with
Okay.
that.
But
Yeah.
people do have commitments, and I mean, we were already over 15 minutes over. So I think going back to the chat makes a lot of sense because people were taking a 2-sentence chat and turning it into a 5-minute story.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, Barbara was one of the primary people who found it difficult or impossible to put her comments into the chat, but she's not on,
Charlotte too.
So.
Yeah, and she's not on anymore either.
Yeah, so I think we go back to
Okay,
that.
we can go back to the other way of doing it. But I do have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Patty.
I would say if we haven't finished the 4 paths, but I mean, we have a choice, I think, to make. Either we give up the second body prayer so we can have a discussion of 10 to 15 minutes and end by a certain time, or we just go through what we planned, and if it takes longer, it just takes longer, and see what people say. Ask them at the end if we let it extend as long as it would go, if we do everything that we planned. Ask people after the blessing to say, we went over our planned time by 10 minutes or 15 minutes tonight. Would you have preferred that we,
I can have some control over that because the problem is the going through the 4 paths. So I need to spend. I mean, I try to give time for people who haven't spoken yet to speak up, but I just think you're right to just go back to the chat, and we don't even have to read the chats. But we've really been spending an inordinate amount of time now in that section. It's totally eating away with the rest of the service.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But the question I do want to ask before we go any further, because when I looked at the template, I noticed the times and I thought that's not our times. Isn't our regular time from 7 to 8:30? I didn't see that at the top of it. It's like
that's not that I know. Last I thought we had said it was really 60, and then we stretch it out to 75 minutes, which would be our time is 4 to 5:15.
I figured it was 90 minutes, and most of the time we go 90 minutes. We go from 7 to 8:30.
So that's a change then, because the template you originally put out had 75 minutes on it, and that's what I've been operating out of.
All right, which time do we want to do, guys?
Well, I don't think we can do this in less than 90 minutes.
I don't either.
Well, but if you remember, the reason we shortened it is that we were thinking people were saying it was too long. So
I don't know who said it was too long, but
that was what the conversation came about. In fact, you shortened it to 60 minutes, Lori, if you remember your original template. So if you want to say 90, that's okay, but then we need to say 90 minutes and change it.
Let's say
change
90
the
minutes.
Advertisement that's 90 minutes, and then we won't feel so much this pressure.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Margie,
if somebody has to leave earlier, they can leave earlier, but I don't think we should rush through the whole process because.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the 45 minutes is a crazy long amount of time for that. Margie, what do you think? I don't feel like I've heard your opinion.
Well, I felt that I felt the pressure when you went so long with the 4 paths that everybody felt like they had to move along. And I almost in my head was thinking maybe we shouldn't do that second body prayer like Patty expressed or something like that.
Except that was maybe 3 minutes. That was not very big chunk of time relative to other things.
No. I wouldn't.
And the other thing to keep in mind, if you want to go down to one body prayer, now you have Michael doing one thing.
Well, no, it wasn't. No, just this occasion because I noticed that we were running late and like she said, Patty said, I guess that you felt like you had to leave something out, but you didn't really want to leave anything out.
Well, and for me, who got up at 3:15 and worked on this for 3 hours, I would not be happy to have half of it truncated, frankly. As it was, I crammed it into 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I did the best I could, but that was not the problem. The problem was the 45 minutes plus that it took us to go through the 4 paths.
Yeah.
So that's what we got to get a handle on. I want people to feel free to express themselves, but it's just turning into a Gabadon.
Yeah. So that's exactly what Patty suggested. Let's go back to doing it in the chat. Let's not take away one of the body prayers. We need both of them. I think we should still have both of them. And I think we should agree on 90 minutes.
Well, so that needs to be changed on the schedule too.
Okay, but here's the thing. I think that sacrificing the second body prayer is too high a price to pay to finish on time.
Right.
Okay.
No, I didn't want to sacrifice it. I just felt like at this point we were running late, that something had to go.
Exactly. So
What,
I think
what's best
all
not
of us
to.
are agreeing that we don't want to give that up.
Right.
And therefore, whatever happens, if we go back to putting the 4 paths in the chat and so forth, no matter what happens, we're not giving up the essential components that we have planned.
Exactly.
That's it.
That
Okay.
verbal, when you did the verbal chat, the 4 paths verbally rather than just put in a chat, it's almost like having two discussions in one meeting.
Exactly.
Discussing
That's the
there
way
and
I felt too, Margie. Yeah. And that was
Yeah.
like, wait, we're not having a discussion yet. But then we were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's just not working out.
Mhm.
Right.
Not working out to have the new way. We should go back to text. Anyway, I got to get going because I did have arrangements.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
So
Okay.
anyway, and I'm surprised, Patty, you wanted to sit and chat because it's got to be going on 3 a.m. there.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's 2:45.
Ah,
Oh,
It's nothing
I
new.
said we won't
Well,
be talking afterwards. Patty has to go to bed.
good night, Patty.
2 nights I was up at 4 a.m. to listen to Podrick from 4 to 6.
Mhm.
That's it.
Oh,
Sweet dreams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Night,
Bless
everybody.
you
later.
all. This
Thank
was
you.
beautiful. Okay. Thank you so much.
Night, night.
Good night.
Take care. I was so sorry to hear about Elda.
Oh God. I haven't been able to hear a full discussion with her. But she texted me on WhatsApp because I can't call, on the phone. I only have WhatsApp on this phone. She said that the oncologist called to tell her that the treatments had no effect and that she was going to die from this tumor. And she said it contradicted everything that she knew, because she said, why, they had said that they wanted to do the radiation so otherwise she could lose that lung. But you can live with one lung, and so, in other words, he was saying that there's no other recourse or something. I don't understand it. But Elda misunderstood something else about the treatment that her nephew corrected, her niece's husband. So I don't know that she's under so much stress. I don't even know if she's getting whatever it is that they're saying, and
Right.
she's not in a position to question, to say, okay, so that didn't work. So what are you going to do next? What's
Right.
my next move?
Right.
She's so overwhelmed, just overwhelmed. So I'm just praying that she gets enough rest at her niece's house. She moved to her niece's house, okay, which is in upstate New York, and she said she's getting acupuncture and herbal medicine and lots of TLC, okay, and so she said she thought that was going to make a big difference, and that was before she got this call apparently from the oncologist. So she said the whole family. She couldn't talk to me because I said, call me, and she said I can't. The whole family is coming over. So the whole clan was gathering this weekend at her niece's house to see her. So I don't know what's going on. I don't, I didn't put out a message to the board because I don't think Elda, I'm not sure she has that's a final word, whatever.
Right. Right.
Okay. But
Right.
it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So
You think as if they could have taken one of the lungs out, if it's still just in that one and it hasn't metastasized, you think they could do that?
now that's the problem. Maybe he was trying to explain that it's not just there.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know. I don't know. And I don't think she knows. See, that's the problem. And she's just scared to death.
Yeah.
literally
Aw.
scared to death.
Mm.
So it's
That's
just so tough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My heart goes out to her.
Oh. So I will see you tomorrow night because we have the Padre um amplifying voices tomorrow night.
I know.
Yeah, that'll be good. I think I know who Marilyn Nelson is too. Marilyn Nelson, I've heard of her.
She was interviewed by Krista Tippett
Mm.
on Being,
Okay.
and Podrick was there.
Mm.
It was Marilyn. Krista did an On Being episode. You might want to listen to it with Marilyn and Podrick.
Okay.
It's precious. It really is.
All right, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. He has so much respect for Marilyn. Marilyn is an older Black woman who is sort of a grand dame
Mm.
of women, American women poets.
Mm.
She's like, she's right, right
Uh-huh.
there, everything. And he speaks of her with tremendous respect,
Mm.
just
Mhm.
really great respect.
Uh-huh.
So
That's nice. That's
yeah.
nice. So this will be really interesting. This will be really
Yeah,
good.
it is. It is going to be. I hope I can, tune in, whatever. If the neighbors haven't thrown me out for keeping them awake. But I copied down what Padre said as his introduction to his talk at the church in Berkeley. This was at the Faith and Justice Conference. I was starting to tell you, it costs $5 a month to join this organization, and they said if you are part of the organization, they were going to live stream his talk, and so you didn't have to register for the conference. The conference in Berkeley was $120,
Mm.
but if you remember, it was free.
Huh.
Okay.
Well, good that you found that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but he talked about, so the people at the conference were sort of like ministers and people like you, who you're not an ordained minister, but you do ministry, which your minister obviously has recognized. So he said, I suppose I want all of us to honor those among us here tonight who are in some way involved in the care of souls, chaplains, pastors, good neighbors. There's something about the person who people know in a community they can call to say, there's been terrible news, or there's been a death, or that thing has happened again, or that thing I wish nobody ever knew about me. I need to talk about it. To be the person at the end of that phone line, whether that is a friend, a chaplain, priest, minister, an imam, a rabbi, a companion, formal or informal, I honor the work you do. It is irreplicable. There is no app that can do this. There is a soul that meets a soul. There is the presence and the sound of your breath. There is the way that your breathing and their breathing find a way to meet each other. There is the way within which your study, and even more than your study, your pain will be a companion to the pain of somebody else. And what it is that you have lived through will teach you what not to say. You too have waited for a phone call from the doctor with those kinds of results, have known what it's like to sit in fear as policies change that make your life even more dangerous, or as histories change in other places that make relatives' lives dangerous, where you might feel complicated about being where you are. I honor all of this work in all of you.
beautiful.
Isn't it?
That's beautiful.
I thought of you and all of your work in AA, not just your UU stuff, all the companioning that you do in AA. You know, that's who you are. And that's how he started his talk. I honor the work that you do. He
Wow.
doesn't present himself as the big cheese. I'm here to tell you what blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
There's such beauty, and I thought it was very tender.
That's
So,
beautiful. Beautiful.
yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's
okay.
definitely with AA, is that we use the pain and the trauma and everything to help the next person.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What it is you have lived through will teach you what not to say. God.
Great. That's great.
Yeah. So
Mm.
anyway, okay. Thank you.
All right.
Laura.
You gotta go
Thank you
get
so
some
much.
sleep.
Yes, I will. Okay.
All right. Night, night,
I'll
sweetie.
see you tomorrow. I don't know if we'll see each other or not. I don't know if we'll be able to see each other. I don't know
Okay.
if they do it as a webinar or not. Okay.
All right. All
Take
right.
care. Okay. Bye, hon.
Night, night.
Night, night.